Hey everybody, happy Thursday and welcome to the live stream. As you noticed by the title and the thumbnail, I've got two guests, three technically if we count Ryan. Ryan is here. But guest number one is the wheel. The Wheel of Tangents is our first featured guest. Now let's bring in the others. We've got Ryan and Brent. Brent Weeks, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Although the Wheel of Tangents strikes deep fear
You
into
know,
me.
it should, because you'll notice we got a lot of red and blue on here. Now, the red and blue questions are, some of them are really stupid. Some of them are actually pretty good questions, I think. But then right up here, this black one, audience question. So if we land on that, anybody in the comments can let us know what they'd like us to answer. Hopefully we don't land on that one first. I don't think they'll let us.
Do you get those questions? So I should be rooting for that one. I want it to be for questions for Craig, not for me, right?
Well, it depends on how stupid the question is.
All right. Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Because, yeah, if it's dumb enough, I'm kicking it straight to you.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, Brent, you're done with the media tour. This is not technically a stop on the media tour. However, I am going to hold this up and tell everybody to go grab a copy of Night Angel Nemesis if they haven't yet. It's Ryan and I had the privilege to beta read this book for you, which was a lot of fun. The beta and the book, honestly. So we've been waiting eagerly for people to get their hands on it for months, and it came out last month, and people can go check it out, and I hope they do.
Right.
So, Metal Bard says, I am so ready to ask intensely dumb questions. Good. So here's what we did, you guys. A few weeks ago on the live stream, we filled this up. Okay, so that was the whole live stream was devoted to filling this up with questions you would like to ask somebody, some random author. And that's what we're doing today, okay? So let's see. Should we spin? I think we just get right to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
No whammies, no whammies. Oh, you get probably too young.
Okay, so this one is, let's see, an adaptation that's better than the book. An adaptation that's better than the book. My answer on this one is really easy. And okay. I know I'm going to say Stardust, which I like Stardust, the book. Don't get me wrong. It's a great book. We actually, the last time we were out in Portland, Ryan and I read that for the get-together that we did, the legendary meetup. And I liked it a lot more the second time around. But I still maintain that the adaptation is actually better and more fun than the book. So
I've got two, but Ryan, you go first because
I don't know. Stardust is what came to mind first. Now I got to go digging through it because generally we all know that they don't tend to translate that across as well. So I don't have one off the top of my head outside of Stardust.
The Hobbit.
Hobbit.
Oh, God.
Someone is just aiming particularly to try and just get under Craig's skin right from the get-go.
Yeah. Where's the band hammer? Like, as a guest, do I have those privileges? No. What the hell? I'm out of here, guys.
Yeah,
that was in my rider. Oh, right. This is not part of the tour, so the rider doesn't work.
There is no rider.
Okay, I've got two. This will give you a long time to think, Ryan, because we're coming back to you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to take control of your show, Craig. So okay. One, Fight Club.
Ooh, interesting. Which is one that I've actually read and seen.
Yeah. Which and then like that. Yeah, the way that the movie I think came together a little better. I think actually the movie is a little better than the book, which I probably shouldn't say as a writer, but it happens every once in a while. And then I actually liked The Godfather. I liked the movie a little bit better than the book, which the book was a little bit different, but the movie was pretty intense. And of course, when you have like that's the thing about cooperative arts, when you actually have really good people involved and they're all pulling, sometimes they do better than just one person can do by themselves. So I like Simon Vance doing my books. They're just better than what I can write. He's like kind of dragging me along, being like, Brent, 5 stars. It's over there. I'm trying to get you there, but you're just limping behind me. So.
So with The Godfather, I agree with one exception, and that is the opening scene with Amerigo Bonacera asking asking for a favor of The Godfather it's maybe a little cleaner in the movie as far, quicker, but it's I think more impactful in the book. Once you get going, I think I'm with you, but I love that opening scene in the book.
Yeah, see.
So, but on the note of Fight Club, which was Chuck Palahniuk, right? That for some reason that jogged my memory of Cormac McCarthy, who I think it tells really good stories, but stylistically not for me. And so when I watch No Country for Old Men, it is so much more pleasurable than reading No Country for Old Men, and probably The Road as well. But hey, that's just me.
I haven't read any of his books. I feel like I just lost some points there. I haven't read any Cormac McCarthy. I've seen the name a million times, but people are like, "Oh, that's a heavy read," and I'm always like, "Oh, maybe next week." Yeah, great.
Speaking of heavy, are we going to talk about heavy reads right now?
Oh, okay. You don't even have the hardcover version there. So
I know, it's my arc.
That's the advanced reader copy for those of you who don't know the lingo. I mean, geez, Craig, you're just cutting people out, or have you educated them all so well they know all this stuff now?
Oh no, they're all very educated.
Fantastic. All right, that's why we play highbrow games like the Wheel of Tangents.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, we're here for the highbrow. Ryan, did you come up with one?
What is that? Did you see that comment?
Yeah, from Linnea there, the Princess Bride. It's a really good one. I have to tweak the question just a little bit. I have 2 blockbuster films that I think actually benefit. They're not better than the book, but they benefit the book series here. With their existence, and they're pretty obvious, I think, in both the recent adaptation of Dune and the Lord of the Rings series, because it brings new audiences into those book series that otherwise would not probably have picked them up.
Interesting. Okay. All right, fair enough. As long as you're not saying that they're better than the books.
No, but I do believe that they're, like, for a lot of people, especially entry-level fantasy readers, people who know of the Lord of the Rings, they know of Dune, they know of those things, but they have no desire really to read. Giving them an entry point where they have someone who kind of interprets it for them to start with, gives them a visual representation, something to connect to, makes the journey a little bit easier, gives them a few handholds and footholds along the path to make it more likely that they will get into said book series.
Yeah.
So,
and also Scott Pilgrim, great choice. What a movie. All right, here we go. Okay. Here, I'm just writing this down. I should have done this beforehand, but I'm lazy and stupid. So here we go. The world you wish you had created. So we're thinking like, okay, so Middle Earth. Like, if I could have written Middle Earth, would I want to? Here, let's throw us up here. There we go. Now let's do this again. Sorry, I didn't like it. I tried it. I didn't like it. Okay. So
if you can downgrade my pixel count, I look better actually. So just the fewest pixels possible. I look fantastic in you get to that Nintendo, the original Nintendo level. I look pretty good. So
8-bit
Brent Weeks in 8-bit.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, where did we go? There we go. Okay. Whew, that's better.
So I can't do this one. I can't do this one because like I'm literally paid to do this all the time, and
surely there's like if you could just magically off Joe Abercrombie and take over his world.
Just stop right there. No, just the first part. Hold on. I just want to sit there for a little while in that. Okay, thanks. Sorry, I'm back. So, what was the question? Okay. So I finally the gears are really slow, but I have one. It's not the world, but the storytelling conceit that Robert Jordan used.
Oh boy!
Like he made me so angry when I realized, wait, he's just stealing all this stuff from history. But then, so he grabs every great historical character that he's ever read about, and he loves history, just like I do, but he's older than me, and so he gets to all of them first, and then he spins them out. But like, it's not stealing because he's made it part of the world that like the wheel spins you back in again. So it's like it's a reiteration of the character. So he can steal whoever he wants out of all of history. And actually his world building benefits from it, because if you know a lot of stuff already about Alexander the Great, you're like, oh, look, it's Alexander the Great again, except now he's sort of different this way. And unless you know enough history to be angry about how he writes certain characters or something, but like most people don't know that. So I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so brilliant, because it looks lazy, but it does so much work. And then he gets to incorporate all the stuff that he loves. You know, it's like, oh, I know this great story, I'll just grab that character. So I'm very jealous of that when I realized like that was a good trick. Like you made it legit with what your world building is. It's 100% above board. It's not a cheat.
It feels
part
organic.
of the world building, and it's brilliant because of that. So I hate him for that. Yeah.
How, Brent, let me ask you a Robert Jordan related question, and that is, how consciously do you put echoes of Robert Jordan into your books? I'm thinking especially of Night Angel.
So like Night Angel, not super consciously. It was like I was young enough. I'd read Robert Jordan. He was one of those big figures that I read as a younger reader, and who was like, oh my gosh, it's sort of like Tolkien, except there's women and they do things. And I mean,
stop right there.
As a young person, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great, you know. And then he did a lot of stuff, and he had lots of big action and all this great magic and stuff. And so he was just an early influence that sort of sank into my conscious mind and messed with things. So like some of the things I went back, even by the time I wrote the third Night Angel book, you know, which was been a few years now, you know, 15 years ago. And I was like, oh, that adheres a little too closely. Like that wasn't an echo, I mean, I thought it was kind of just an echo, but it's like, I need to change that, or I need to, I need to tweak some things, take some left turns here. Okay, I've got a tower full of women who are being, trained in magic, and like, okay, everybody's going to think that's just a copy, like, okay, right. I got to do some different things with it. So I mean, I did do some different things with it, but like I put it in there just because it was so powerful. It was such great world building.
So there you go. Ryan, is there anything you would throw in there?
Well, I know everyone expects me to say the Star Wars universe, which of course, yeah, it's also the one I would love to live in. But I will say that there is a mythical world that I wish I had created, in the sense of Discworld. Pratchett's Discworld would be, it's ingenious in its own right, and what it allows you to play, playing like every one of the Discworld novels is unique and comical, and that's very much my style, how I'm driven and how I think. And so to have come up with a world like Discworld would be incredible.
That's both of you gave answers, or like towering figures in fantasy, and everybody knows how much I love the Lord of the Rings, and so it's going to be tempting for me to be like, yeah, I wish I'd created Middle Earth. No way, because I'm not a genius, and he can do something with that. I might go with, and I can't remember the name of it because it's been 20 years since I read them, but the Christopher Paolini Aragon series, where he created this world where you can throw every single cliche in there, and he did. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I quite like the first book, and I especially like the second book a lot. But so he created this really fun, cliched fantasy world, and if it were my world, you could do some really interesting stuff with it. So that's all. I'm just gonna leave it there before I say too many things about Christopher Paolini. I do like those books. Let's see. Okay, let's spin again. Okay, here's what we're gonna. How do I do? Yeah. Okay, now people can kind of see it a little bit. Okay, all right. You can't see it, but I
almost
can.
Read it. Almost. French.
I love that Brent and I both turned our heads.
Lettering.
Favorite dessert.
Favorite dessert.
Favorite dessert. I told you, not all of these are going to be substantive. It's got to be cheesecake. It's got to be cheesecake. And I talked to somebody last week who said that it's heresy if you put something on a cheesecake, and I almost punched them in the face because that's heresy. I mean, a plain cheesecake can be very good, but I make this incredible lemon cheesecake. It's a lemon cheesecake with a lemon curd glaze on the top. It's just like, sometimes you want to be humble about stuff, and in this case I'm like, no, screw humility, I make the world's best cheesecake. It's unreal. So
if you enjoy a little bit of pine sol in your cheesecake, what Craig makes is fantastic.
I did not know. I would have come on here a long time ago, except you didn't invite me. If I'd known that in coming on you would wax poetic about cheesecake. That's not what I was expecting.
Can I tell? All right, want me to go a little further?
Please do. Yes. What makes the perfect cheesecake, Craig?
I'll tell you what.
You
asked the question. Here's your answer. There's a restaurant here in Salt Lake City called the Dodo, and the Dodo has what's called a banana cream cheesecake, and it is literally a cheesecake with a banana cream pie stuck on top. And it is the most incredible and indulgent thing you have ever eaten in your entire life. You will regret it forever. And also, but if you didn't eat it, you would regret it on your deathbed. It's unreal. So,
that sounds like a deep fried Twinkie to me.
It's a bit. Yeah, it's not quite deep fried butter, but we're getting into some dangerous territory here. All right, what do you got? What do you got?
I'm in a desert for desserts because yes, thank you. I totally agree. I'm adrift currently because my body decided to give up on lactose before giving up on life, which was, I think it got the order wrong there because Christy and I used to joke, that's my wife. We used to joke that we could support our own cow, like we love dairy so much. And so for my body to just be like, yeah, let's not do that anymore. When I was in my late 30s was like, oh, screw you, body. So dessert just seems like a mockery. So you're talking about, regretting eating cheesecake. Oh yeah, I would indeed.
That's awesome.
So like frozen junior mints,
Ooh, those are good. All right.
Yeah, just a few. You can't have too many, but just that. It's sad. It's sad. Okay, Ryan, over to you. Save this one.
I will not.
Ryan, if there's one thing I know about Ryan, it's that he has no taste, and I don't mean like fashion sense or whatever. He literally has terrible, terrible taste buds.
Okay.
That's not entirely true, but I am.
You said your cheesecake tastes like pine sol, so I mean, it's enough to make me when I come and visit you be like, "Oh, Brent, you want some of my famous cheesecake?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." Oh, lactose intolerant. I mean, I made up that story just in case we ever come across each other. I will not have to eat the pine sol. So,
I once could taste, and then I had Craig's cheesecake. So. No, I'm sure it's fantastic. I am a man who really enjoys when a foundational dessert is done really well. So you do a chocolate chip cookie right, and I am all over that. A hot fudge sundae that's done well. That's a really good dessert. The basics there. I don't need to go super extravagant. I don't need anything too crazy. I like keep it simple, and pretty much anything along the dessert line is great. But I will say a Dutch apple pie is up there high on the list. I'll do a Dutch apple.
What about a chocolate chip cookie on the bottom of a hot fudge sundae? Right?
I thought you were going to say on a cheesecake.
So we go cookie, cheesecake, hot fudge sundae right on top of that. Bring it down there. And then a shot of insulin directly in your vein right as you go.
All right. Let's spin the wheel again.
So I used to do that. Like I used to think that with creme brulee, because it's sort of simple seeming, but if a restaurant does a great creme brulee, great restaurant. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Oops, there we go. I can type, you guys. I'm really, really good at this.
And
the first novel you ever read.
Oh, okay.
The first novel you ever read. Now, I guess, how are we defining this? Anything with chapters and minimal illustrations, I guess.
Oh.
Right? Something like that. So, like, think back to when you were a kid. Mine might be like, I don't know. Like, are we getting into novel territory when we talk about the Hardy Boys or something?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'd work.
Something like that.
Yeah,
That'd
I mean,
work.
that would qualify.
The first big kid book I ever read was Michael Crichton's Sphere.
Oh,
And
was
my
that
mom,
not one of his better ones?
I really like it quite a lot. I mean, is it one of his better ones? I mean, that's up to somebody, but
Yeah.
somebody who's not me. But I like it a lot. It's not one of his better adaptations.
Okay. I don't. Yeah, I must have skipped that one.
It was well, honestly, now I can't remember if it was that or the Sword of Shannara. My mom gave me both when I was like 9, 10, something like that.
Okay.
I know I read ones earlier, but the earliest one that I can remember the experience of reading it was reading Tom Sawyer in third grade. So that was, my mom had me having here, do this and read that. So I remember that and enjoying that experience and going like, okay, and this Mark Twain guy, he's a good writer, I guess, for all of my third grade understanding of what good writing was.
This is amazing. What an artist.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was more on the Frog and Toad Together.
Oh, yes.
So those were my early ones.
Those
Not
were
quite a
so
novel, I suppose, but I thought that was a little more advanced than the Pokey Little Puppy, which apparently was a great favorite to young Brent, and my mom, called me that for many years, still does.
You're not making this difficult, Brent.
No.
So I've got stuff on you now.
I'm just serving it up, man, like a cheesecake. So, yeah, I did hardly. I don't remember what my first novels were though. So yeah. I was kind of a later reader, so I remember those books. But
this is so good, especially knowing Alex a little bit. The Wind in the Willows, which had swears, so I stopped. What a good little boy you were, Alex. That's great.
Nice.
Wait, you need to start signing your books that way?
As the Pokey Little Puppy?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was you're serving it up like cheesecake. Like, I give Craig the runs. Or Craig gives me the runs. Brent.
Just had to take it all the way there. Like, just had to.
Oh, no, here's the thing. I'll find the line. I'll find the line and then, tell you where it was.
Right.
So. Okay. Ryan, did you go? I can't remember. Something
I
Star
mentioned
Wars.
Tom Sawyer, but I mean,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Going back, like Animorphs and Goosebumps are kind of in that. They're chapter books, but nowadays, as an adult, you wouldn't consider them as novels. But
let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's try wording it that way. This one is, what do you pay more attention to now versus 5 years ago? And as a reader, as a writer, whatever, as you're consuming or creating, what do you pay more attention to now? I think, actually, holy smokes, Brent, you're here. I would have said this if you weren't here. But Blood Mirror, book 4 of Lightbringer, turned me on to how important representation can be. Because, I even mentioned this on the podcast, so this isn't news to anybody who listens to the show, but Kip and his new bride go through some issues. I'm not going to give away the farm here, but they go through some issues in their early marriage and have some difficulties. And I remember reading this going, holy smokes, it's my story. Like it was almost verbatim exactly what had happened to me when I was newly married. And so that was the first time when the light kind of went on, where it's like, okay, so I get now why people say this is so important. Yeah. Huh. Both so deep in thought. It's an
Well,
interesting question, but I think it's a really difficult one that might take more prep.
The problem is the real answers for me are like all very shallow, like volume level on the TV and stuff like this.
where's the subtitles?
Did you know that millennials are more likely than any other age group to use subtitles in shows?
So I was hearing that there's some good like scientific reason for that, of like that all the different channels encode their audio differently or something, and so you'll stream with one service and they do it one way and they stream with a different service, so nobody's doing it by a standard way, so you're constantly having suboptimal levels for the dialogue regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
Nice.
So, yeah, love that. Yeah, I remember emailing you, Brent, being like, "What the?"
Yeah.
Tell me
I've
more.
heard from a number of people, which actually surprised me, because it's a private issue, and I just wouldn't figure that people would tell me. I mean, even though I wrote about it, but I've had a number of people, thank me. It's like, well, it was something I heard about from some friends, and I was like, well, that sucks. Oh, also, I could totally use that in my fiction, and it fits with the plot. It keeps kept from being too happy.
That's how you should sign your books, Brent. Thank you for your pain, Brent Weeks.
Yes, exactly. Well, I make them pay me for their pain now.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
My bookshelf. There we go. That it's just staring me in the face. My bookshelf. So I realized, actually, it's only been in the past year. Like, wait, I'm going to be. I was doing some streams, and I was like, I don't have books that are important to me in the background, and I should have books that I care about in the background behind me. So now I do. Actually, Craig, I if we can take a side light, I got one of these sort of for you. Check this out. Not for you. Thinking of.
Oh, I spotted it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not even open.
Oh my.
So I hadn't opened it yet. So I was going to do you have this one?
Yeah, I do. I did did an unboxing of it on YouTube.
Oh, I hate you. Darn it. I should have figured, but
we knew that. We knew.
Yeah. So I've been saving this until I got done with my book tour and stuff. So
I'm trying to see how I can how can I make you bigger? I want to make you bigger. There we go.
There we go. So this is the illustrated by the author version, and Tolkien's so important to me that I was like, I need to have Tolkien on my shelf. So I got one. These are way too little. You know what though?
I've got those. Those were my church copies. So I'd go because it fit really well with my my other church books. People couldn't tell, and I'd just be like reading Return of the King in the middle of church.
Like, he's got one of those little pocket Bibles. He's so holy. Exactly. Look at this guy. He's just going through page after page, never looks up. So, I also have this. I don't know if you have this.
Sir Gawain. Yeah, okay. I don't have Tolkien's
version of Gawain. So it's So
I don't have that version of it. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, one thing I really like about that version of the Lord of the Rings, or that copy of it, is when you open it up. I mean, it may not be true of the first 10 pages and the last 10 pages, but for the most part, you open it up, you set it on the table, and it stays open, which is so rare for a hardback these days. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, they did a great job with this. So
they want me to blow you up.
Yeah, okay. So we've got
Iliad and the Odyssey, obviously.
Yeah. Those are important to me.
For those who don't know, by the way, Brent and we read the Odyssey and then discussed it with Brent very, very poorly on our part. But that you can go back if you just search on our podcast, search the Odyssey, and we did that one.
I'm about due for a reread on that. So Homer was doing crazy stuff that was pretty amazing a long time before any of us. It's pretty neat. So let's see. I'll talk about all that some other time.
Stuff. Yeah.
Some other time. I don't want to take up too much time, but just don't mind me. I'm going to be looking at my Lord of the Rings, which I just opened. So
it's really nice. It's got the pages from the Book of Mazarbul are loose leaf in there, so you can actually take them out and do something with them.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the letter that Aragorn sends to Sam in the Forgotten Epilogue is written out in Elvish by Tolkien. Yeah, and they put that in
Nice.
there. It's really cool. It's
Nice.
I
Man,
like that edition quite a bit.
The gold foil there is real
Yeah.
pretty. It's real pretty. So, man, this is beautiful. Okay, this is nice. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
I'm back. Sorry, I'm back.
Let's see what we got. Okay. All right. Let's do that. This is favorite trope and why it's still good. There we go. Favorite trope and why it's still good. You know what? Can I go with the ultra classic? And I do mean ultra classic.
No.
The farm boy. The farm boy who has to go out into the world, and probably save the world in some way. But it's just either that one or or going into the forest, like the character or characters going into the woods and that representing the wilds of fairy and all that stuff. Either of those, I think, are really great representations for growing up, basically. Nice. And so they're ultra applicable to just about everybody. Love them.
So maybe not a trope exactly, but a character is, the orphan boy or the orphan. Can be a girl. It's just like, just gets rid of all the, the adults who would just get in the way of all the adventures. It just lets you get going. It's like, okay, it's an orphan. There's no responsible adults around here saying, don't do that. That would be stupid and really dangerous. Like you have parents who are like, if you have parents, they've got to be stupid in order to let the kids go do what you really are interested in seeing them do. Like, they're totally negligent parents, or they have to be big characters because, most parents who are reasonable humans actually keep a pretty good eye on their children and don't let them, risk death every 15 pages. So I like the orphan. You just get, I love the comment there. Please don't say farm boy. Too late. So I like the orphan. That's fine.
Yeah, nice. This is a good one. Enemies to lovers. Hey, there you go. There's Stardust. There's that great line from the movie when she says, something about love, which can be easily mistaken for loathing. It's great. Did you get anything, Ryan?
I have one in mind right now. I don't know how technically if it qualifies as a trope or not, but just the when you finally get the good people to do something all coming together. I'm going to quote not the best example of it, but one that really gets me is, when all the ships show up at the end of Rise of Skywalker type thing, when everyone comes together and the people are like finally rise up against evil. That is one that I like because I still feel like that can be a reality, that can be true, especially coming out of, we just finished a whole bunch of Grimdark doing Abercrombie stuff. And like the idea that if people come together and actually unite and push back against evil, that it can win. That's in my heart a belief that I think actually is real.
Ryan, shouldn't you be the one who lives in Portland or near Portland?
Probably.
Not Brent. You should be out in the people united.
Yeah.
So this would be like when the horses come over the rise at Helm's Deep, or something like that. The Ewoks rise up and stab the plastic stormtroopers to death. Ryan's got to go. He's got to go do a play pretty soon. We'll see. Okay, I think those are good.
I gotta go tell people how to dance and sing and stuff. So
right.
Nice.
They're in huge trouble.
Yeah. It was a pleasure, Ryan.
See you, Ryan. Okay. Oh no, we did that one. Okay. All right. Let's try this one. This is top 3. So it says top 3 video games, but I'm just gonna go with games. I don't know how much you video game, Brent, but maybe tabletop, maybe card games, whatever.
I'm a gamer. I play video games. So I can throw in Gloomhaven. I recently played some Gloomhaven.
Okay.
Tabletop game. Well, that was pre-COVID. I'm afraid. Yes, in the before times, as I hear the kids call it now, the before.
My chin was pre-COVID. Now I haven't seen it in 3 years. So.
Let's see. I liked all of the original. Okay, so I'll do a couple old ones.
Mm-hmm.
The original Splinter Cell games.
Ooh, okay.
Like that was like the stealth thing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Scratches an itch for me. The guy sneaking around in the darkness and hopping out. Even Thief, Thief did the same thing.
Okay.
From way back. And then Planescape Torment.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, really? That was like the first game that had a great story with it. And, you had to be patient. You had to be willing to read long, chunks of text.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there were fairly meaningful choices along the way. But it was just neat. I'd never done the Planescape universe. So that was cool.
Right on.
So how is Frosthaven? I haven't even looked at it. I've heard that it's out. That I know he's been working on it for years, but
yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because do you do much tabletop?
No, I don't. It's it's a bit like anime. I have this standard refrain on the podcast where I have nothing but respect for it and love for people who love it. Maybe I didn't get into it at the right time, and so it's never grabbed me. And so, nope, not a lot of tabletop gaming, but for video games, though, I have played, let's see, I don't know how many days we've had since 1998, but I would guess that 70% of them I have played StarCraft or StarCraft 2.
Okay.
So for 25 years now, I've been that's got to be my number one. The Legend of Zelda as a series would be a second one. If I had to drill down to my absolute favorite, probably A Link to the Past. And then my third might be, oh gosh, can I have a tie? I need a tie between.
It's your show. You can do what you like.
That's right. Between Horizon Zero Dawn, the best story I've ever played. And Doom Eternal.
Really?
They're new. So they did a new Doom in like 2016, maybe something like that. And it was mind-blowingly good as a single player first person shooter. And then the sequel was twice as good as that.
Okay.
So unreal. So
you're telling me I should have taken that gig. So the I think I could talk about. Yeah, I didn't sign an NDA or anything. So they asked me to do some story consulting for them,
like some lore stuff.
But like just come into our office and talk to us, and we'll pay you and stuff. And I said no. So I was like, oh, they kind of test you out to see if you seem real, and then if you seem good, and everybody in the office likes you, then maybe they hire you for something more. And I was like, oh man, I've heard about this. They give you money, and then they give you so much money you don't want to say no, and then you're in.
And you can never get out.
And then you never get out. So I remember talking to Richard. What's his name? Gosh dang it. I'm blanking on his name, but he would talk about they fly him first class from England over to EA to talk to him, and he's just there for the weekend. Yeah, and they give him a suitcase full of money, and he flies back home, and then it's like, dang, that was a lot more than my novel money. And then pretty soon he's writing games full time, so he was like that a lot. So
did you ever see Mythic Quest?
I never watched it. No.
Okay, but you've heard of it.
I know what it is. Yeah, I've heard of it anyway. Yeah,
it is sneakily one of the best series of the last 5 years. Not a lot of people watched it, but it's unbelievably funny and really pretty touching sometimes. But they have a character who is he's a former novelist, and now he's their story consultant in-house, and he's the most hilariously pretentious kind of wannabe Arthur C. Clarke character who, anyway, it's, you would get big kick out of that show.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So, all right. Let's do this. Which way do we want? Yeah. Oh,
I'm playing Valheim right now. So
are you really?
People might enjoy.
I've heard that one's really good.
It's really fun. I'm playing it with a buddy of mine. They finally put it on Xbox, and which is where I do most of my gaming these days. So enjoying that. Favorite openings.
Favorite, yeah. So I remember this one. To make it more clear, this is your favorite book opening. So like favorite line, opening line from a book. You know, they're in a hole in the ground. There lived a hobbit.
Yeah, right.
Would be a pretty solid choice, I think.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid one.
Not a dirty, wet, nasty hole, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole. Yeah, whatever. Should we do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Goodness. I don't know that I have one of these off the top of my head. I have a hard time with openers because I know that the author is on their best behavior. And so I'm like, if before I can judge you, I need to read something at least 30-40% into the book that's like a descriptive paragraph or a little piece of dialogue, in the middle of nothing, so that I can see how you really do when the stakes aren't really high. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Right.
I don't know. That's probably not fair.
No, well, I always figure, when I first met my agent, so I was unrepresented at the time. I was sitting at a table with 8 other people pitching things to this, New York City agent who I thought was amazing. And he said, he's like, I've been having this argument with my staff. He's like, I think I can tell within a page if a book is going to be any good. And they think you need at least to give it a chapter at least. And so I was like, I'm going to send him only 1 page. Like, okay, there we go. I've got my work cut out for me. And I've come to believe that he's kind of right. Like, if your first page is you on your best behavior, it's like, okay, this is your first impression. It's like, if you don't show me that you know absolutely what you're doing, it's like, then you don't know what you're doing. Like I can pick up oh gosh dang it. The thriller writer, he's older now, Dean Koontz.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like you pick up any book by Dean Koontz, and even though he's been doing it forever, it's like he still keeps his standards high. It's like somebody in fantasy was like, oh yeah, I picked up a book by this person. I remember it, but I'm not going to say who it is. And they're like, and I couldn't get away with this kind of opening because it was kind of a boring opening. And he's like, but it's 4th book in the series or whatever. And so I got, she gets away with it for these reasons. And I was like, man, you read Dean Koontz, and like every first line is amazing. Every first paragraph is amazing. And every first page is amazing. Like, he just, there's a reason he sold several 100 million books, but that's one of them. So I love I love a great first line. A surprising first line. Well, thank you, Dominican.
Well, should we do we dare?
Oh, I don't know. So
the first line from Night Angel Nemesis.
Yeah.
He's young and likely innocent, and I wish it made a difference. If he doesn't move in the next 3 minutes, this kid has to die. Oh man, I did love that.
Yeah.
I think I even put that in my beta comments. I was like, damn, Brett.
You gotta have fun, right?
Linnea wants us to write an opening sentence right now. Yeah.
Thanks.
No pressure. Yeah, no
Thanks.
pressure. All right, we'll do a couple more, and then I think we'll call it quits for today.
All right, yeah.
We'll see. Nope, that's a favorite trope. Hey, an audience question. We need an audience question. Wow, I can't believe what luck.
Wow,
so,
that's great.
For those of you in the chat, this is it's open for you. What question do you want us to address? The worse, the better. Okay? I want terrible questions.
Oh, terrible.
Along the lines of like, what's your favorite dessert? Like the party that you hate going to where somebody's like, here's my icebreaker. I want one of those. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what Metal Bard has for us. So, okay. Let's see. That requires thinking. Yeah, sorry. That does require thinking. Here's an interesting one. I just started Night Angel Nemesis. Did Kylar used to break the fourth wall in the first 3 books? I don't recall it.
No, he didn't. So this is told differently. So this is the Kakari Codex is going to be the long series. So the first movement of the Kakari Codex is the Night Angel trilogy, and the Kyler Chronicles, what we're calling this, probably a trilogy, probably. And that's the second movement. So it's told in a different style. It's told, as you can see right away, first person, present tense, at least until you get to the framing device, which is, oddly enough, for framing device, not framing the whole narrative. But so I introduce a little bit of weirdness as we go along, but I try to do that slowly, so you don't know what you're getting into until it's too late.
Right on. Now we're talking. That is okay. We've got some terrible questions here. First of all, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh my gosh, that's a terrible question.
It's awful.
Clearly, the Earl of Sandwich would say yes. Give me my meat between, between 2 pieces of bread, and let me eat while I gamble. Right? Isn't that the Earl of Sandwich? So yeah,
there's some joke here about, hey, as long as the meat is cylindrical, or I don't know. I'm not sure where to go with it, but
yes, I heard a hot dog once called a Texas tube steak.
That's awesome. That's brilliant.
Which, since you were already going there, I just thought I'd throw that out. Okay, let's move on to the next terrible question.
Which quadrant of the DSM do you most identify with?
Wow.
Pass.
Pass.
Let's see. Favorite excuse for avoiding social events you don't want to go to? Let's see. I hope nobody we know is watching this. No, you got to go with the classic family emergency, because it's almost always true that my kids need or did something.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Well, my DSM quadrant is acting up. I think this is about the best I can do.
I like this. If a pizza requires circular dough, this is Mermetal Bart. This is the best it came up with. If a pizza requires circular dough as a base and savory toppings, do tacos count? No, because if you take a pizza and you fold it in half, it becomes a calzone. It is no longer a pizza, although it's the exact same thing as a pizza, but now it's a calzone. So a taco is going to be folded or, rolled.
So you're saying that a taco is a calzone? Is that what you're telling me?
It's closer to a calzone than a pizza. How's that? Yeah, there you go.
I misread that as okay. We'll just leave that one in the comments.
That's awesome. Let's see. I assume Brent's excuse is, I got gum in my hair.
Yeah. They say a lawyer who represents himself in court has a fool for a client. Yeah, well, I decided to cut my own hair.
Did you really?
And this is what happens. So, I'm stuck this way now, or it's backing down and saying I'm not good enough. So actually, I still have all of my hair. I just look like a bald guy.
So is this it for the long haul, or are you going to wait for that 60-day stretch when you don't have to make any public appearances and you're just like, all right, I'm going to grow it for a bit?
No, I it started to go and I was like, it's pathetic. Let's just take it off so we don't look like we're, hanging on to the wisps. Just take it off. So,
okay, there we go. Yeah, we already did the other one. So this one. Okay, this will be our last question, and this is
share your hair, Greg. Is that a question? I don't know. Well, what are your hair secrets? I want to know.
I did have one guy. One guy asked me about 18 months into the pandemic. I had a meeting with a guy, and as we're wrapping it up. This is probably why I didn't get to continue working with this company. But the guy is like, you have such long, luscious hair. How do you do it? And this guy was like, male pattern baldness and whatever. And I said, it's easy. Have hair, live through a pandemic. And he laughed at the time, but oops. Let's see. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's do this one. Weekly shows or binge model. This was somebody's question from a while
Mhm.
ago. Yeah, we're saving the best for last, the most important.
That's-
Do you like to watch your shows on a weekly basis, or do you like to binge?
So like intellectually, I definitely like the weekly. Yeah, the weekly actually, and in real life too. So if you have friends, the weekly model lets you talk to them about how great the show was and look forward to things. So, and then if you have children,
We're
you're not
getting
going to
into
watch more than one show in an entire week anyway. So you know you're lucky if you can get that 45 minutes without the children coming down the stairs and saying, "What are you watching?"
nothing. It's not Game of Thrones. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. So I actually do like the weekly. I think it gives you a chance to build some anticipation. People can speculate on what's going to happen and show how brilliant they are or how wrong they are, and I like that. I sort of think it lets the community get involved a little bit or feel like they are. Anyway.
Yeah. Now, I'm with you. I tend to prefer the weekly model. I used to actually my 9 to 5 was reviewing streaming devices and streaming services, so I talked about this a lot. And ever since I think it was HBO Max was the first one, or maybe Disney Plus, where Netflix had been doing the binge model,
Yeah.
and then somebody finally came along and said, "Screw that." We'll give you a couple episodes, but then it's going to be weekly after that. And I breathed a sigh of relief because I realized how much I'd hated the binge model because of exactly what you're talking about. It's like, I'm excited for this show and it premieres and I watch 2 or 3 episodes. And then the next day I'm like, hey, has anybody seen this? And they're all like, I finished it.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it. And I got to leave the room,
Yeah, right.
It drove me crazy. So,
yeah.
But a lot
Love
of
that
people
thing they
say-
do in the episode where she dies and you're like, I think that's the next
Thanks.
episode.
Yeah,
Thanks.
exactly.
Thanks.
A lot of people are saying binge though. But
They're wrong. It's okay. It's okay. You can leave now. Craig doesn't want you on this stream. Go. He said I'm gonna show you guys the private chat. He says if anybody says binge, they're out of here.
Banhammer. Oh boy, superior model is 2 to 4 at a time, like Arcane did. Okay, all right. Yeah, Sean says weekly. Thank you, Sean. There are some reasonable people in this world. I mean, ish. We're gonna go with reasonable-ish. All right. You know what? Let's call it there, Brent. I think we gave the people what they want, which was some decent questions and a lot of really ridiculous ones. And it's our work here is done.
Our work here is done.
So for everybody hanging out, again, go check out Night Angel Nemesis if you haven't yet. Read the first 3 books first. You are going to want to read the first 3 books.
You can start there. I've been telling people they can start there. I even had a couple beta readers who hadn't read the first series at all.
When I did the beta for this one, I intentionally didn't go back and do a reread because I was like, you know what? What's it going to be like if somebody hasn't read it in 5 years? So, and I made it through just fine, I guess.
Yeah, I tried to. It was actually really challenging to try to work with 3 different audiences at once. That's, right. People who read it when it first came out and didn't reread, people who just read the first trilogy, and people who never read the first trilogy. It's like, okay, giving enough context for people to understand. Like, I had to boil down, like, what do you need to know about Mama K exactly right now for this scene to work? And that was a huge technical challenge, but not that interesting. It either works for her or it doesn't, I guess. So,
well, I said we were going to end, and then we got all.
Sorry, and then I just started talking. So, dang it.
And I'm being reminded to tell people what's coming up on the calendar. Okay,
nice.
On the 15th, we have an author's shelf with Vaishnavi Patel. She's an Indian American author in Chicago, and she had me read The Palace of Illusions, which was a retelling of an ancient Indian kind of mythological cycle. And it is fabulous. So if you haven't yet, pick that one up. That episode is coming out on Monday. And then we start, it's the beginning of the end, episode 1 of 2 for Leviathan Falls, the final Expanse book. And then rounding out this month is my conversation that I had with Austin Freeman. He is a theologian and scholar who wrote a book about Tolkien's theology. And I had a really, really interesting 45-minute discussion with him. So those are coming up. You can check those out on the site. Go to thelegendarium.com. The calendar is there. Everything's filled out for the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that. So you can check out what's coming up on the show. And yeah, thelegendarium.com should cover you for all the other stuff, Discord and Patreon and whatnot. But all right, let's be done with that. Brent, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks, everyone. You guys had terrible questions, and I enjoyed every minute.
Absolutely. The best. All right, everybody. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week.